Hello, my name's Suzanne and I'm your inner calm coach, and I'm the founder of the mind-body weight loss program called the 5 in 4. And I wanted to jump in today and talk to you about a book that I use extensively. In fact, it was part of my training to become an eating psychology coach. And it's written by the founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, Mark David. Now, this is the book, The Slow Down Diet. And in fact, it's not a diet, and you won't find any recipes in this book. It's all about a way of eating. And Mark talks to us about how we are as eaters, that we as human beings are eaters in our world. We need to eat to survive. And he goes through all the different psychological responses and reasons around why we do what we do and when things go haywire. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this book and really encourage you to find it on Amazon and or wherever, the library, and get a hold of this book, because it really is going to be a game changer and a life changer for so many people. So this is something, slowing down and being mindful around food and body, that I didn't learn as a personal trainer back when I initially was training, I think it was around 2009, 2010. And for many years, I trained women and men to be the fittest and healthiest versions of themselves. And I noticed that they would become so fit and so healthy when they were working with me, but then when they felt that they needed to move on, they would come back a few months later and just go, Suzanne, I need some help again. And I just couldn't work it out. It wasn't part of my training to understand or know that there was actually something missing in this exercise and food equation in how to lose weight. It was actually all about the mind. And this came to me when I became interested in learning about meditation, and then I became a hypnotherapist, and then I became a neuro-linguistic practitioner. And it's all about the mind. The mind is the missing link. And this is what Mark David talks about extensively in all of his books, and I will review a couple of others. So you can get a good idea of what's in it, because I highly encourage you to get a hold of this book wherever. Just Google it, you'll find it. It's so amazing. It goes through so many different principles of who we are as eaters, how our mind functions around food, the physiological response, the psychological response. And that, as I may have said, and I hope I did say, that you won't find any recipes. There are no diets in here. It's just all about a way of eating that is very simple and natural and easy and sustainable. And this is how I work with my private clients, to show them a different way of eating. Now, it talks very much about relaxation. And you may or may not know that our stress levels are one of the biggest blockers to weight loss. And it's this area that we do a lot of focus on, in removing and letting go of old emotions, old anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt, which all bundled together create huge amounts of stress in people's lives. And the physiological changes, the chemical and the hormone changes in your body are such that if you've been trying to lose weight, you're actually creating more stress on your body if you're doing it in a way that is unhelpful to you. And oftentimes people are just not aware. They're following the guidelines and instructions of, what they hear around them, their environment, what they, read in books. A lot of it is just so outdated. There is a natural way of eating and losing weight, and it does not involve dieting or restricting. So relaxation is something in various forms. So it doesn't mean you have to lay down and relax and lose weight. There's other ways to do this, but that certainly helps. But it is just one of the keys in order for you to lose weight, you must learn to slow down. That's why it's called the slow down diet, and slowing down in many ways. So relaxation and addressing your stress levels is one of the keys. The other one, one of the things that he talks about is the quality of your food. Did you know the quality of your food will affect the quality of your mood? So if you are eating heavily processed meals and snacks and, high sugar, high fat, then it actually affects your brain. You feel more depressed. You feel heavier. And if you think about it, and something else that I talk about with my clients is that if you walk into a fruit shop or a market and you see all these beautiful, vibrant, rich colored foods, and they smell so good and they look so good, they have an energy about them. They have an energy. It's the energy of life. And they feel vibrant and alive. And of course, when you eat these beautiful, fresh foods, you feel vibrant and alive. If you eat heavily processed, fatty foods, then if you think about it, there's no life in that food. It's lifeless. And it just makes you feel heavy and dense because that's what the food is. So, and that affects your mind. We have this connection between the mind and the gut via the vagus nerve. And the gut actually sends more messages to the brain than the brain sends to the gut or the body. But whatever's happening up here affects all the digestive processes in your gut. And whatever's happening in your gut affects what's going on up here. So it's really important to look at the quality of your food. If you're going to do anything, change the quality of your food. Eat fresh. Reduce your processed foods. He talks about the rhythm of eating. Did you know that there's a rhythm in life, in everything? There's a rhythm of the sun and moon rising and sinking. There's the rhythm of the ocean coming in and out. There's the rhythm of the seasons. There's rhythm in our body, in how we breathe, the rhythm of sleep and waking. There are so many cycles and rhythms, women's cycles. There's so many in our body. And the rhythm of eating is just one of those. And it's something that we do really need to pay attention to. And very simply, it is just making sure you're feeding your body regularly. And if your goal is weight loss, the last thing that you want to be doing is to restrict your calories. So he goes extensively into some really helpful, simple ways to just make sure that you're eating 3 good healthy meals a day, and to make sure that you've got all the right, in terms of quality, the right kind of macronutrients in your food intake in each of your meals. And, when you read this, it's just so simple. It's making sure that you've got enough protein, enough healthy carbohydrates. So that would be fresh, healthy fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and healthy fats, things like avocados, chia seeds, fatty fish, nuts and seeds. All of these things are really important for the nutrient uptake and for your body to know that it's got enough food and it doesn't think that it's starving itself. Pleasure is another area that he delves into. We as human beings seek pleasure to avoid pain, and this is where a lot of people's issues come into play when they feel like they're comfort eating and, they just need to have food to satisfy something that's missing in their life, not really knowing that if they thought about it, what is it that they're really hungry for? Are they hungry for food, or are they hungry for something else? Is there something missing in their life that they are replacing with food? Now, this is a very natural response, and it's okay to have pleasure when you're eating. We are designed as eaters and as human beings to be able to, we have to survive, so we have to enjoy what we're eating. So we need to eat. We need to eat to live, so we need to like what we're doing, what we're eating. Otherwise, if we didn't enjoy that process, obviously we wouldn't be around. So the pleasure of food is something that's really, really important in many aspects of our life, with family and community and just getting together and just making you feel good. So it's something that is worth looking at, and not denying yourself the pleasure of food, and all in balance when there's a lot of keys that are unlock different areas in your life from an eating perspective. You'll find that it's okay to really enjoy pleasurable foods. He talks about thought, and this is a huge area in what I work with my clients, in letting go of old emotions, which is anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt, which all bundled up create stress in people's lives, stress being the biggest blocker to weight loss. So the power of thought and how that can affect you, whether it's the power of, whether it's how you think about your body and how you think about what you've eaten, about what you bring about, what you think about, you bring about. And so, these negative thought patterns that are in your mind, and these nasty things that people say to themselves, are actually affecting their goal of losing weight. So they're putting themselves into the psychological stress response and physiological. It's just stress. Stress puts people into the fight or flight response, and the fight or flight means that essentially, among other things, you want to either fight or run away, that all the energy, the digestive juices, the digestive process is slowed down, shut down, because that's the last thing the body wants to do, is process food in the digestive area if it needs to run away from a saber-toothed tiger. But our bodies don't, and our minds don't realize that we are in the 21st century, and that we are not being chased by lions and tigers or saber-toothed tigers. It's the primal response is still the same. So it's really interesting to think about what you're thinking about, because it actually makes a huge difference. And he also talks about story. Story in anyone's life is so important. We're more than likely to attach ourselves to a story than anything else in terms of remembering things. And often the stories in our lives, going right back to our childhood, and when I'm working with people using the neurolinguistics, is about from the ages of 0 to 7, and some say before, from conception or even before. This is where we're highly influenced, and all our values, behaviors, beliefs are formed. And so how we eat can be as a result of part of the story of our lives, either when we're younger or something that's happened during our life, which is causing us to seek comfort, to seek pleasure, to avoid pain. And then, we're turning to food in ways that are unhelpful to us. So if you'd like to know more, I would love to have a chat with you. I will put a link below. I offer a free 30-minute weight loss consult, so you can chat about anything really around your weight or body image, and I can tell you a bit more about the program, or I can tell you, give you some hits and tips on how you can help yourself if you are going through the process of struggling with weight. But if you can get a hold of this book, The Slow Down Diet, it's by Mark David, the founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. It's fascinating reading. You'll learn so much. And I'd really love to know, if you get this book, what your thoughts are. Okay, have a great day. And I hopefully will see you in another book review. Bye.